Hello, I'm Kate, and in my presentation I will be sharing the steps, obstacles, and milestones I encountered during my journey of a final major project. Throughout this presentation I will cover the basis of my project, writing down my own proposal and brief. I started by drafting my project proposal so they fit in the requirements of the module aims. For a sneak peek, this is what I created at the end of my final major project, my children's book, The Story of St. Cuthbert, the Guardian of the North. What am I wanting from this module? Adobe skills in InDesign and Photoshop, a taster of the industry and working professionally, to widen my portfolio in illustration, to broaden my ideas on future children's books, to improve my illustration style, to be ready for possible future job opportunities, and getting ready for teamwork and leadership roles in the industry. First, I started drafting for my fake self-initiated brief. I started researching into existing briefs and researching themes that align with children's illustrations or even the local stories. My client's name is Durham Dreamers Publications. They would be looking for a Northeast illustrator that would be able to resonate themselves into a story from the area and ensure that it is accessible for children to understand as well as adults, for the target market being 5 and above. To be able to make a stationery set including pencil cases, notebooks and other miscellaneous items. To shorten down my proposal, I mentioned that I wanted to create a children's book around Durham Cathedral, so I chose the story of St. Cuthbert. I would make a colourful and educational book that is designed for readers aged 5 and up. For an exhibition corner with activities such as colouring sheets and a stationery set including pencil cases and notebooks. My goal would be to entertain, educate and install pride in our local heritage. Moving on to the creative process. With the groundwork laid, I was able to get the creative side of things. Research was my main focus designing a children's book, so I would write down as many ideas as I could on random pieces of paper if a thought popped into my head. I researched into page spreads early on, as I knew I had to research what my book layout had to look like before using tools like Procreate and Adobe InDesign to bring my book to life. Throughout this module, me and my classmates helped each other by sharing different ideas for our work. This is a piece of paper where I jotted down quick ideas after viewing past students' presentations work. I knew I had to research more into Durham Cathedral, so I looked online for any website that I could find that told me about the rich history of St. Cuthbert. After my research, I scheduled a tour guide at Durham Cathedral, specialising in St. Cuthbert, to gather as much information as possible. To understand children's illustration, I visited libraries to explore the textures of softcover and hardcover books. I also searched online to examine colour schemes, typography associated fonts and book covers, as they are key to attracting readers' eyes. After gathering information about St. Cuthbert, I summarised his life from the early years through the later of his years and his death. Then I selected parts of his life for the story of each page for my children's book, ensuring the number of pages was a multiple of 4. Before I began researching my final major project, I visited Holy Island. I was inspired to create a children's book about St. Cuthbert after discovering there was such few books available for kids. Then I had another visit to Durham Cathedral to gather photos of the rustic architecture so that maybe I could include them into my illustrations. By focusing on Module Aim 2, I started working on the title of my children's book and character stamps, while going through what I wanted on each page. This was one of my favourite parts to do in my project because I've always been fond of drawing and sketching characters even from a young age. This is my process toward working on Procreate and InDesign. Previously I would have used Ibis Paint X for illustrations. However, due to its slow performance, frequent glitches and distracting ads, I chose Procreate instead. Procreate's advanced features and ad-free experience make my illustrations come to life with its high advanced features. It would be easy to change the colour of a background in an illustration to see what contrasts best, and to see what's good at organising to see what I wanted on each page. Throughout my illustrations, I am constantly changing things, adding and removing and adjusting to what I think would fit best for that page in comparison to the others. And once I had finished all my illustrations, I was able to keep them in a neat order of how I would want them to be in my book. To meet Module Aim 6, I explored Adobe InDesign to ensure my book's layout met professional standards, including bleed and margins, so it was ready for printing. While using InDesign, I experimented with various typography designs to find the best fit for the front cover and inside layout of my children's book. This is the final result of my book in PDF format after I was finished on InDesign. I decided to use PMI Creative for printing since they are local and easily accessible. I had previously gotten a few of my children's books printed with them in the past, so I was familiar with their pricing, contact information, and the good quality of their prints. This is me standing proudly with my children's book outside of Durham Cathedral. To prepare for my exhibition, I researched into sublimation companies, including Redbubble, Northeast Creative Studios, which is local, Free Prints Photo Book for a mini colouring book concept. I also consulted with a technician from New College Durham about sublimation. Pencil cases and other miscellaneous items I had printed were of excellent quality, including the mini colouring book filled with outlines of my illustrations. Before setting up my exhibition, I planned the layout and sketched out ideas if I had any. Some ideas I kept in my final exhibition held at New College Durham, but others I chose not to include, because I wanted my exhibition space to look more professional as it was set out in a shop more than a children's book corner. For the exhibition, I needed to include an external exhibition, and I chose the location Durham Cathedral because it matched my final major project. I asked if I could take photos of my children's book and other items around the cathedral, including in front of St Cuthbert's resting place, as they gave me permission. Considering Module Aim 5, I have been supporting my classmates and taken on a leadership role in the group chat to both collaborative and individual projects. Our exhibition titled The Creative Collective ran from the 16th of May to the 3rd of June. I designed an Instagram profile picture combining all of our work into a single piece of art. Additionally, on the back wall of our exhibition, we displayed portrait drawings of ourselves printed with a Riso printer focusing on sustainability. To have a better understanding of my exhibition layout, I tested it at home to decide whether I wanted to go for a more professional setup or maintain a children's book corner feel. In the end, I opted for a professional looking exhibition, presenting my children's book in sublimated items as if they were featured in a shop or a library corner. After submitting my final major project, I realised that there were some minor grammar errors in my book. I went back to correct these and updated the starting pages and back pages to feature a recurring pattern from one of my illustrations. Looking ahead, I would use Mixam for printing children's books, as I found through further research that they offer a lower cost for bulk printing compared to my local printing company. For the future, this would then allow me to sell books at a profit. I told Durham Cathedral about my children's book on St Cuthbert, and they expressed interest in reviewing it and possibly selling it in their gift shop. Working on final major project, this has been an incredible and rewarding experience. I thoroughly enjoyed creating a children's book about Durham Cathedral and St Cuthbert, and the process has deepened my passion for children's illustration. If I had the chance to do it all over again, I would embrace it with the new knowledge and insights I've gained now. This project has not only allowed me to develop my skills in illustration and design, but also provide a valuable learning experience in research, layout, and exhibition planning. Moving forward, I am eager to continue creating children's books, mainly focusing on stories and landmarks in the Northeast. My goal is to build up a name for myself as a professional illustrator in the Northeast, expanding my work to include more regional themes and stories.